The White Sox get crushed out in Philadelphia as the start to the 2024 season continues to get worse. Let's discuss next on Locked On White Sox.
You are Locked On White Sox, your daily Chicago White Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And hello, I'm Todd Welter, a lifelong Sox fan and the site expert of Southside Showdown, part of the Fansided Network. You can check out my written content at southsideshowdown.com. Also, I've covered Major League Baseball for outlets such as the Associated Press back in the day. And thanks for making Locked On White Sox your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And hey, make sure you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, smash the like button, and give a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts, as that would be greatly appreciated. All right, so the White Sox went out to Philadelphia and got swept by the Phillies in a 3-game weekend series. Tell me if you've heard that before, because that happened last weekend when they got crushed by the Cincinnati Reds, and it's probably going to happen again a lot this season. They got shut out yet again on Friday. They lost 7-0, then lost 9-5 on Saturday, and closed out the series with an 8-2 defeat yesterday. The Sox are now 3-18. That's right, only 3 victories through 21 games. We will get into just how bad that start is. We'll also go over whether we should be concerned about Garrett Crochet. And then finally, I'll wrap up with the return of Danny Mendick. Danny Mendick is back. Woo! Today's episode could not happen without eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. Okay. So first, got to get a sip of coffee. As you know, I love my coffee. Got some half and half. And for those watching on YouTube, if you're listening at home, you won't be able to see, but I did pick up a White Sox mug. I've added it to the collection. You'll probably see a rotation of my Marquette mug, my Chicago Bears mug, and the mug my daughter painted for me. So, getting back, the Sox were outscored 24-7 by the Phillies. Hey, that's progress, at least, when the Reds crushed them 27-5 at Guaranteed Rate Field last weekend, the previous weekend. Friday, the Sox were shut out for the 7th time of the season. So, according to Baseball Reference, the White Sox have been shut out again. It's their 7th scoreless game of the year, the most by any team in our database through the first 19 games of the season. The Sox truly are one of one when it comes to being terrible. So Spencer Turnbull, he took a no-hit bid into the 7th. Hey, you know, that was a pitcher the Sox could have signed in the offseason. I believe it was Sean Anderson of CHGO who was trumping that up on social media throughout the offseason and pointing it out on Friday. Turnbull gave up just 1 hit in Friday's game. The Sox only had 2 hits in that game and only 3 other walks. So that's 5 base runners total. 5. Okay. Saturday, Zach Wheeler, he had a no-hit bid through 7 1/3 inning. Philadelphia built up a 9-0 lead in the 7th, thanks in part to Michael Soroka. He gave up 5 earned runs over 4 2/3 innings. Tanner Banks gave up 2 more in 2 1/3 of an inning when he came on to relieve Soroka. And then Dominic Leone, he gave up 2 more in the 7th. But hey, the Sox did put a little scare in the Phillies. They produced a 5-run 9th. So got some runs. But it was too little too late. Although the way that the Sox score runs, you can never say 5 runs is too little. It's a decent size, as they say. On Sunday, the Sox did get off to a great start. Eloy Jimenez, he hit his first home run of the season, a nice 2-run shot. So the Sox offense spotted rookie Nick Nastrini making his second career start, a 2-0 lead, but he had one of those rookie starts where he struggled, walked his first 2 batters, and gave the lead back by giving up 3 runs. Although it should have been 2 because Nastrini got JT Realmuto to strike out. And Martin Maldonado actually made a nice throw to second as Bryce Harper was attempting to steal second. It should have been a strike him out, throw him out. And with the throw, Harper pulled up. He's in a rundown. But the problem is, Lenyn Sosa, he got preoccupied with Trey Turner at third base. And obviously, Trey Turner picked a spot, dashed for home. And what does Sosa do? Throws it home. And it goes wide. Womp, womp, womp. But we'll get to him later in the show. Anyways, Harper scored later in the inning. The Sox were only able to get 2 more hits and a walk on Aaron Nola. And there's another sweep. The Sox start is so bad that NBC Sports Chicago's James Naveau, he did some digging and found this. This is up on NBC Sports Chicago website. So according to StatHead, the White Sox are now one of only 12 teams since 1901 to win 3 or fewer games in their first 21 contests. In fact, this now marks the worst 21-game start in the White Sox history. Okay, so it's not like the White Sox haven't been around since 1900. Oh, wait. Only 3 teams have won fewer than 3 games in that stretch, with the 2003 Detroit Tigers starting at 2-19, and the 1988 Baltimore Orioles, who lost their first 21 games. That's the company the White Sox are in. And if you're wanting to know how did the 88 Orioles finish, they finished 55-107. The 03 Tigers went 43-119. Although 3 seasons later, they were in the World Series. You even got the Athletics' Jason Stark, and this is all I'm going to mention in the Athletics since they let James Fegan go and decided we don't deserve coverage. But Jason Stark of the Athletic, he's putting the Sox in contention to be worse than the 1962 Mets. You know, the amazing Mets that won only 40 games. But at least they had a decent manager in Casey Stengel. Heck, Jerry Reinsdorf might try to hire him. And then to show you how bad it could possibly get, the Sox are in contention probably to potentially beat the franchise record for the worst season in 162 games. You got to go back to 1970 when they went 56-106. Least amount of wins, at least when I was looking through Baseball Reference. Hopefully my eyes didn't deceive me, but it was 1932. That club won 49 games. You know things are bad when you're talking about historically worse. You're talking about history, you know, this team being historically bad. And they're definitely on pace. Why? Because the focus was on improving the defense and the clubhouse chemistry. And they did it by picking bad players. There's nothing wrong with wanting better defense. And there's nothing wrong with maybe having the clubhouse sing Kumbaya every day. Just get better players. And so far as we're seeing, General Manager Chris Getz did not get good players. And then we've got this manager in Pedro Gafal who isn't qualified to manage a target leading this club. All right, anyways, we're going to go over Garrett Crochet's start on Friday. Do we need to be worried about Garrett Crochet? we'll discuss next on Locked On White Sox. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Well, we've all been there, either as a player or a fan. It's halftime and the scoreboard's not looking good, feeling a little low, not sure you or your team can pull out a win. That's when you dig deep, you lift your head up, you say to yourself, time to get back in the game, pull off some bank heists, take as much of my friend's money as I possibly can. No, I'm not talking about playing poker. That's right, the smash hit mobile game Monopoly Go lets you compete with your friends to get the most riches and the biggest empire. It's the Monopoly you love, but on your phone, anytime, with tons of new twists, including leaderboards to compare your progress to your buddies. There's so much to do. Play on countless dynamic Monopoly boards. Make your friends bankrupt by smashing their landmarks with a wrecking ball. Charge other players rent for your iconic properties. You can bet if somebody ever landed on Boardwalk, they're paying more than $500 when they play with me. You can even work with your friends to crack open community chests and in tournaments to get extra rewards and climb the leaderboard. So make sure you check out Monopoly Go, available in the app, on the App Store or Google Play. And are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all that screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news. Streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Sip of coffee. Please hold. All right, I'm back, and welcome to Locked On White Sox again. Talked about that terrible series out in Philadelphia. And one of the things that should have given us hope was Garrett Crochet started on Friday. Garrett obviously had 3 fantastic starts to the season. And it gave you hope that the White Sox have an ace to replace Dylan Cease. You know, Crochet was going from the bullpen where he only pitched, I believe, he pitched less than 75 innings in his entire career, missed the 2022 season with Tommy John surgery. He was dynamic in his opening day start where he only gave up 1 run. In fact, he had only given up 4 earned runs in his first 3 starts. But he left the game on Friday, giving up 7 earned runs on 5 hits, 3 home runs, 2 walks, and 3 Ks in 3 innings. And as he left the game, TV analyst Steve Stone, the great Steve Stone, said Crochet just did not have it. Well, did he not have it, or is this a sign that his amazing start was just smoke and mirrors? His ERA is now up to 5.61. His innings worked have declined through each start. You know, he went 6 innings against Detroit, 7 against Atlanta in one of the Sox 3 victories this entire year. He went 5 against Kansas City, and then against Cincinnati, he could only make it through 4 2/3 innings, where he gave up 5 earned runs. Now, granted, it was that one big second inning, and for the most part, he was pretty good. He had 10 Ks, but still, you're seeing 7, 5, 4 2/3 innings, 3. Is the book now out on him? Especially since, still according to Baseball Savant, his expected ERA should be well under 3. His advanced stats are, all right too if you go to Baseball Savant. But should we now be concerned? We've seen him pitch well, obviously out of the bullpen in 2021. He was a dynamo. Heck, if he doesn't get hurt in that 2020 Game 3 against the Oakland A's, maybe the White Sox win that series. Excuse me 1 second. But you're starting to see his pitch counts go up. He's still throwing strikes, but sometimes, he's been missing a little bit more than he was during those first 3 starts. Has baseball come for him, or was it just, a fluke? Is he just going through 2 bad starts? And really, 1 bad start and 1 bad inning. Because the one thing about this season that should at least give you a little bit of hope is the starting pitching. Down the road, you could have a potential rotation of Garrett Crochet, Nick Nastrini, Jonathan Cannon, and then there's obviously Drew Thorpe down in the minors. He's getting close. Hirio Iriarte, he's doing really well at Double-A. You got Noah Schultz. He's down in Single-A. Had a great start recently. Jake Eder. So there's some good young arms, and especially if these guys can be really good, that makes you competitive. Think back to the Oakland A's back in the day. Everybody talks about Moneyball, but people forget about Hudson, Mulder, and Zito. That's what made the Oakland A's competitive during that stretch. They just used those Moneyball tactics to be able to hit. But nobody ever talks about that. And that's the thing, if you could have that. So, and especially Garrett Crochet's stuff is outstanding. He is must-see TV. You are not only watching a guy that has a chance to dominate, like he did against Atlanta, but it's also entertaining. And that's the thing, you just want something during the season to watch. Even if it's every 5 days, just give me something. And baseball is like, nope. Or maybe it's just the Chicago White Sox. The ruiners of everything. That is what this season's motto should be. Chicago White Sox baseball, where nothing good lasts forever, not even a few innings. It's been a tough one, folks. But hey, Danny Mendick is back. And we're going to discuss that next on Locked On White Sox. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Free $150? Sign me up. And you can put those, you can use that to put together some fun parlays and prop bets. Yes, prop bets. I got a college roommate. He keeps telling me, here's what he does. He puts together the bets that he feels confident he'll win. He then throws in a parlay and a relatively low price, or he'll throw in a prop bet. His favorite prop bet is, will the game go into overtime? And hey, if it hits, fantastic. And if it doesn't, well, he still had something extra to root for in a game. And it's not like he had to put a ton down. His other bets will put something down. He makes way more money than me in terms of just general life. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit fanduel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. That's fanduel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. All right, welcome back to Locked On White Sox, your team every day. I am Todd Welter. I want to thank you for sticking with me. If you've stuck with me this long, hope you had a good weekend. Mine was all right. I had to make a quick trip down to Florida. My parents snowbird in Naples. They needed help as my dad has gotten a little bit older. He's got some physical ailments, so they needed help shutting down their condo. And my mom needed help getting them back to Illinois. So made the quick trip yesterday, mowed the lawn, cut the grass, did some yard work. So hopefully you had a very fun weekend. And hopefully you're excited, as I am, that Danny Mendick is about to return to the Chicago White Sox. It can't be a Chicago White Sox season without Danny Mendick. There's got to be something in the organizational bylaws that the White Sox have to have a player like Danny Mendick. Just some guy that looks like he should be, selling you insurance, and yet here he is, the utility infielder. And he's back, baby. James Fegan tweeted at JR Fegan, Danny Mendick is getting called up, just as at CST Sox fan Daryl Van Sosteren, the Dutchman, reported. 30-year-old had homered in 5 straight AAA games, is 13 for 33 with 10 extra base hits in his last 9 games at Charlotte. He was tearing up AAA, and now he gets rewarded. Mendick played parts of 4 seasons with the Sox from 2019 to 2022 at a 259, 309, 366 slash line. He did have that memorable 2022 season when he had a 289 average with a 786 OPS. He filled in nicely when Tim Anderson got hurt, but then, of course, a knee injury wiped out his season. Played for the Mets last year, but now he's back. And he's back to replace Lenyn Sosa, who hopefully we never hear from again. Get this guy out of the organization. I don't want him to go back to Charlotte. Excuse me one moment. I don't want him to go back to Charlotte. I don't want him to go back to Birmingham. I want him designated for assignment. He can't hit in the major leagues. And also, he had 3 defensive gaffes over the series. 2 of them, 2, running into the outfield and not calling off the outfielder. Or here's an idea. It's the outfielder's ball. Get out of the way. One of the balls dropped to give the White Sox another little scene that you would have seen out of Major League. The other one, Kevin Pillar, at least thankfully snatched out of the air. But Lenyn Sosa, for those that remember too, in 2022 when he was called up, he was a top 5 prospect. Remember Tony La Russa sat him on the bench. Everybody was just going nuts. Maybe there was a reason. I hate to give Tony La Russa credit, but maybe Tony was onto something. 2022 or 2021. I just remember there was a huge, they called him up and he just sat there. And everybody was losing their mind because Sosa was supposed to be the answer to the eternal problem at second base. And, well, he's not. Can't hit, can't field. You know, he can hit in AAA. That's great for Charlotte. But at least Danny Mendick can hit. In the major leagues. Now, he's not going to be an all-star, but he can be serviceable. You can definitely platoon him with Shoemake at third until Yohan Moncada. Well, he's not coming back. I know they're hopeful, but I'm not. Until I actually see him in the lineup, I'm very skeptical. Yeah, call me a doubting Thomas. But Lenyn Sosa is just not it. He doesn't need to be around. You know, at this point, I don't care. I mean, fine. If you need him at AAA, fine. But let's never hear from him again. You know, go find somebody out on the street. Bring back Elvis Andrus if you have to. Although I think Elvis made a team. Either way, Lenyn is just that bad. But hey, Danny Mendick, I'm not expecting too much out of him. I wouldn't expect a 2022 season where maybe hopefully he doesn't blow out his knee. But at least he's a decent fielder. He shouldn't make as many gaffes. And he can hit over 200 in the major leagues. All right, well, that'll wrap up this edition of Locked On White Sox. Before I go, Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. And now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV's channels app. So we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to talk about some more White Sox baseball. They do play the Twins now. They go to Minnesota. And let me know your thoughts on today's topic regarding how the Sox got crushed in Philadelphia. And should we be worried about Garrett Crochet? You can send me those comments on Twitter at ToddJDub. We're also on Instagram under Locked On White Sox. And also we are on TikTok for however long we have it. You can also email me at lockedonwhitesox@gmail.com. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.